You know, I'm keenly aware of what YouTube has done to video gaming as somebody who's been playing a long time. I've witnessed it, start out being this thing that was really cool and a great way to get information about games or, get past a sticking point. But then it became this thing that's ancillary to gaming. It almost has absolutely nothing to do with video games now. It's all about saying things, even if they're not true, just trying to be the Xbox guy or the PlayStation guy or the Nintendo guy, or being part of some ridiculous group or podcast, or believing that talking about video games is somehow working in the industry. You've got to actually create video games. You've got to actually have a common frame of reference if you want to be seen as somebody who's working in anything. You can't just simply talk and then tell a developer that, hey, I think it's a cash grab when you're doing something like The Last of Us Part 1 remake as opposed to the remaster. Now, I don't know if people have forgotten, but there's this little site called Digital Foundry, and they do painstakingly intricate, detailed work when it comes to looking at games and trying to find out what is done to them and what isn't done to them. And they've looked at The Last of Us Part 1 remake versus the remaster, and it is staggering how different the remake is compared to the remaster. They've also talked about the Naughty Dog engine, and this is something that most people are ignoring, but the iterative effect of tweaking this engine means that in the future, the engine can be used for more titles, for new titles, and give you even better graphical effects. But let's focus in on The Last of Us Part 1 remake versus the remaster. This is Digital Foundry's video. You can go watch the video. They're talking about texture quality. They're talking about animation. They're talking about foliage. They're talking about minute details in the way the characters' lips move, the way their eyes animate. And it is staggering, the work that's done. It belies the work that the developer is doing, all the developers are doing on this remake, to simply go online in a podcast, in a group, and call it a cash grab because it's going to rile people up and get them to click on your tweet or on your video, and then you can be the Xbox guy. Because let's be clear, I'm talking about Xbox right now, and I'm seeing ridiculous things said about this game. There are people, myself included, who spent $500 for an Xbox One X. 2 years later, the thing is canceled. No games were made for it by Microsoft to show it off, and then $500 more for an Xbox Series X, which I purchased. So I'm no better or worse than anybody else, but give me a break. People who know nothing, absolutely nothing, myself included, because I've never created a video game. But what I do, folks, is I go to the people that are doing the work, and I look at things like Digital Foundry's video. I've played the actual games that I talk about, and I can tell you and anyone else that if you think there's no difference between The Last of Us Remastered and The Last of Us Remake, then there's something absolutely wrong, and it's probably social media, YouTube gaming's fault that you feel this way. This is a great, great, great game, and they are doing amazing work to bring it forward into this generation, to take advantage of everything that the PlayStation 5 has to offer, much in the same way that Horizon Forbidden West did. They made a game for the PlayStation 4, but the PlayStation 5 offers benefits that they want to take advantage of, and they did. And it's a much better game on the PlayStation 5 than it is on the PlayStation 4 because of the PlayStation 5 specific hardware features that are being used. The same way that the remake of The Last of Us Part 1 is going to use those specific features of the PlayStation 5, the DualSense, the SSD, all the extra power to create a game that looks incredible. This is the definitive version of The Last of Us, with The Last of Us HBO special coming, with The Last of Us Part 2 looking phenomenal on the PlayStation 5, another title utilizing the PlayStation 5 over the PlayStation 4, even though you can play it there. They're doing the same thing with The Last of Us Part 1. It's not even close. It's not a cash grab. You cannot grab something that people willingly give to you. People are willingly spending their money on something. You're not grabbing anything. They're giving it. And the reason they're giving it is because it's a great game and it's going to utilize the new system's strengths the same way that most of Sony's first-party games have so far this generation. You see, when you have great content and it spans 2 generations, you've got to take advantage of the new generation hardware. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is only on the PlayStation 5, and there's a reason for it. Whether or not you agree or disagree, I can tell you, this is the best looking game on console right now, period. There is no argument. And the only reason that there could be an argument is because of social media, YouTube gaming, personalities, shallow people who know very little about video games, who play very little games, but want you to like and subscribe desperately. It's destroyed gaming. There is no coming back. I'm tired of it. And yes, I'm specifically talking right now about any and every Xbox-centric YouTube social media celebrity, if you want to call them celebrities, that have taken this social media disease and hijacked gaming and say the most ridiculous things to get people to like and subscribe. It makes no sense to me to not look at things like this, or The Last of Us, or Horizon, or Ghost of Tsushima, or Spider-Man, or Forza Horizon, which is the only game that Microsoft has right now that is a looker, that is staggeringly beautiful. It makes no sense to me to downplay any of these games. I'm aware that my tiny channel isn't going to change much, but I'm tired of it, and you should be too.